Okay.
Okay, so you heard that?
Yes.
Okay, so um, I'm not going to be using headphones because I'm the only person in my house, so there's no risk of anything uh, that we say being heard by anybody else. How about you? Are you in a secure location? No interruptions? No people in your
Y-
house?
yes, I'm alone in my home, but I do have two big dogs that may make noise,
Well,
but hopefully not.
I've got
Yeah.
two bigger dogs, a Saint Bernard, a Golden Retriever, and a Bernese Mountain Dog. So we'll cancel each other out. Uh,
Gotcha.
okay, so as we're talking about this technology issue, are your headphones sounding okay? Can you hear me?
Mm, I can hear you.
Uh, is your internet connection secure? I mean, is it stable?
Yes.
Okay, and you can hear me fine. So one thing that I was going to start with that we just did is that, like, in the event that we lose connections, I will say within a couple of seconds, I'll try to reestablish contact with you by opening up another chat and emailing it to you. Or if internet does not work, calling you on your phone or
O-
texting you to see if you're at a secure location, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
If you get disconnected, my suggestion would be to re-enter our session using the same link that I provided you, which we just did. So we crossed that bridge.
Gotcha. Do you
Um,
want my phone number?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready? Are you ready for it? Do you want me to tell you or you want me to put it in the chat box?
You can just put it in the chat box. That way, if there's
Okay.
there's nothing where I am, but in case there is where you are, at least nobody hears you texting. Or
Okay.
so, all right. Um, and just as a final safety measure, in the rare event of a complete or prolonged inability to reconnect, or if you are having a medical emergency, um, if you can't call it, I will alert 911 if you just give me an indication that there isn't a medical emergency. That because my primary concern is for the health and safety and welfare of my clients, and I want you to be okay.
Gotcha.
Um, Now, what I need to do is go over, what I call informed consent, and sometimes it can be referred to as a self-disclosure. And it covers my background, training, ethics, licensure, and other aspects about me and our counselor-client relationship, as well as expectations for treatment. I think it's really important for to know about me, since I will be getting to know about you by asking questions, so we can outline your treatment plan. All right. Regarding my educational background, I received my master's degree in mental health counseling from the University of New Orleans in December of 1997. My therapeutic approach influences are derived from my training in family systems, cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma focused cognitive behavior therapy, and choice theory. I view issues from the wellness perspective, and that involves physical, emotional, intellectual, and occupational wellness. So it's like healthy mind, body, and spirit approach. I take a strength-based approach which focuses on problems or deficits so that we can build on your strengths and resilience, because we may be able to point out strengths that you may not realize you might have had. So that way it's the client that deserves the credit for the progress. My therapeutic approach reflects various influences from my, no, we already covered that. Participation in therapy can sometimes result in benefits for you, including better relationships, solutions to specific problems, and significant reduction in feelings of distress, but there's no guarantees for what you're going to experience. Risks include experiencing discomfort when recounting unpleasant events or feelings, and change will sometimes happen quickly, but more often it will take time and your patience to help us get through that. So, what is a treatment plan? It outlines your diagnosis or main concerns, specific and measurable goals, types of strategies or techniques like the strength-based or cognitive approach. We will talk about the frequency and duration of our sessions, which is involved, and how your progress will be monitored and evaluated. And I wanted to say, because you're under a time constraint today, that I will adhere strictly to your schedule to respect your time constraints. Lastly, if you could benefit from any treatment that I do not provide, I have an ethical obligation to assist you in obtaining those treatments, and I will furnish you with references that you can seek out. Dual relationships. Here's something that I think sometimes, especially if it's not discussed early on, it can create a lot of confusion and blurred boundaries. Although the sessions are psychologically intimate, the therapeutic relationship is strictly professional and not social. It's critical that the professional relationship be based on respect, safety, and trust. For this reason, I will not be able to accept any invitations via social media networking sites, and I can't respond to any blogs written by clients. I will adhere strictly to the American Counseling Association Code of Ethics. It protects both of us. Now, termination. Let's talk about, it's always good to talk about termination at the start. So during the intake and the first few sessions, I will assess if I can be of therapeutic benefit to you. As therapy progresses, we will meet less frequently so that you can have the space to implement the skills that you've established on your own. If at any point during the therapy I assess that we're not effective in helping you reach your therapeutic goals, again, I'm ethically obligated to discuss with you, including termination of treatment. I would give you the name of referrals to help facilitate a healthy transition. You also have the right to terminate therapy at any time. If you choose to do this, I will provide a list of counselors who might be of benefit to you. Privacy and confidentiality is another important aspect of informed consent. All information disclosed within sessions and the written records pertaining to those sessions are confidential and may not be revealed to anyone without your written permission, except when disclosure is required by law. Likewise, you're expected to keep our communications confidential, and you understand that all records of communication are kept confidentially secured, but there are limits to confidentiality. Disclosure to a third party is required by law when there is a reasonable suspicion of child, dependent, or elder abuse or neglect, or when there's a danger to self or others, or when the client is in danger to themselves or others, or is gravely disabled. I will do whatever I can within the limits of the law to prevent you from injuring yourself or others and to ensure that you receive the proper medical care. For this purpose, I may also contact law enforcement, hospital, or an emergency contact that you have provided. All right. It's very toasty without air conditioner.
Mm-hmm.
Cold water might as well be champagne at this point.
Goodness.
How are you doing so far?
Good. I'm good.
Okay. The laws and standards of my profession require that I do keep. Okay, we covered it. I'm sorry. There we go. Telephone and emergency procedures. If you need to speak with me between sessions, you can contact me during regular business hours or outside of work hours via our call service. We have an answering service that's 24 hours that operates outside of our business hours. If an emergency situation arises that requires immediate attention, you may call the National Suicide Hotline at 800-784-2433 or dial 911. If a life-threatening crisis should occur, you agree to contact the crisis hotline, call 911, or go to the nearest emergency room if you are able to. I think the very last thing is our cancellation policy, and this is also important. Scheduling an appointment involves the reservation of time specifically for you. A minimum of 24 hours notice is required for rescheduling or canceling an appointment. I follow the laws and professional regulations of the state of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas with their LPC boards, and these entities can also be contacted directly if you have a grievance or concern about your care. Now that I've discussed all these, do you have any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, if you understand this agreement, I will send you will need to sign a copy and I will retain a copy for my records. All
Okay.
right. Okay, let me stay with me. Okay, so why don't you start at the beginning, wherever that may be for you? What brings you in today?
Um, well, I just am having some challenges with my daughter. She's almost 17, and
Mhm.
so we are not seeing eye to eye right now.
Any siblings?
She does have a sibling, but he is 4. So
Okay.
I mean, she's not super invested in the 4-year-old.
And yeah, because when you're that age, you've got your own circle of friends, and
Hmm.
you have to. That's the struggle for independence, even though there's still great responsibility attached to it. So, tell me about some of the things that are hotspots for y'all.
Mm.
And it doesn't have
Um,
to be in order. It's just whatever comes to mind.
yeah. Well, she's just very vocal about what she wants, and she's tenacious and does not back down, and she refuses to accept no for an answer. She's very self-serving, and so I think that she can be very inconsiderate. Um, and I mean, she's definitely pulling away as she's becoming more independent, which I expect to happen, but I also feel unappreciated quite frequently.
Unappreciated. What
Hmm.
for you? What is unappreciated?
Well, I provide her with anything and everything that she probably wants, and I'm a pretty lenient mom. I'm not super strict, and I don't really get thanks or gratitude, or if I ask her for something, it's an eye roll.
That should be a diagnosis that's not in the DSM-5, is the teenage eye roll. Um, so your husband, I mean, are you said you're currently married. What parenting styles between a husband and a wife can be different sometimes. How does your parenting style compare and contrast to your husband's?
Well, he is her stepdad, so I mean there's already some dynamics there because I mean that's not her biological father, but I often make he's a lot calmer than me at this point because we are both very charged when we have interactions with one another. So my husband is often the go-to person because he doesn't get triggered by her.
So he's the peacemaker. Does he function as a peacemaker?
He can be the peacemaker. I mean, I've I've also taken an avoidant approach to it. So I don't know if he's making peace or just kind of like interacting more with her these days.
Well, when you say an avoidant approach, can you expand on
I
that?
don't want to talk to her. I don't enjoy our interactions. They make me anxious. Um, so I avoid her.
Have you ever heard the term triangulation?
No, what's that?
It's where a child can play one parent off of the other, and then
Okay.
it's going around in circles. Do you ever see that happening? Well, if mom says no, I'll just go ask dad. At that
Uh,
point, he's dad and not the stepdad.
yeah, but not really because I'm not really the one. I don't tell her no. That's the thing. It's like in this situation, in these circumstances, like she's usually able to roll right over me and get what she wants because when I do try to say no, she does not back down. So I just have put thrown my hands up in the air. Um, and he's more likely to say no than I am.
What's the level of contact with the biological father?
Um, she sees him occasionally. We used to split her 50-50, but since she's started this new journey of being a teenager and wanting more independence, he's a lot stricter than I am. So she does not see him or go over there like she used to.
Like whenever she, as you say, she does what she wants to, she avoids him because she knows he's a lot stricter. And
Mhm.
then she, I guess, defies you because, as you say, you have trouble telling her no. Is that correct? Or is that close?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Tell me about the last charged discussion that y'all had. I'm just using charged because when you said that triggered something in my head that said, "Oh, I've got to check into this."
Yeah. Um, yeah, so she had planned to go to a sleepover, and as she was leaving, um, I made some sort of comment about like she had a lot of things in her hand that she was carrying, and I guess I made some like offhanded comment of like what all I said it was in a joking way. I said like, "Oh, what are you trying to hide?" And she basically threw everything out of her hands on the floor at me. Um, and accused like she was just like nothing, I'm not hiding anything, if you want to look, see, like look at that.
So you know how to push each other's buttons.
Uh-huh.
Would you be would would it be accurate to say that when you're feeling frustration over her defying you, your way, yeah, you try to say or do something passive aggressive just to let her know that, hey, I'm still the mom.
Mm, I really was just making a joke. I
Um,
didn't mean anything by it. I mean, I can see where she probably didn't take it that way. But in that moment, I didn't think that her reaction was warranted, if that makes sense.
no, it makes perfect sense because I mean you weren't your tone of what it you sound like you have a very calm and soft tone of voice. So if we speak to each other using that voice, we have no reason to expect an elevated response.
Sure.
Um, Tell me about her circle of friends.
She's got a good circle of friends. She spends a lot of time with her friends, and I think that's probably where some of the interactions with me and her come into play, just because I feel like she would rather be over there with her friends than necessarily doing anything with the family. She also has a tendency to be at her friends, and she doesn't necessarily invite her friends into our home.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know why. I really don't know, but her friends are probably their families are at higher socioeconomic statuses, so they have better houses, basically.
Probably have better houses, drive better cars. That sounds a lot like something I expect, just something that I could identify with when I was a kid. I mean, of course, you're going to have friends of different social circles, but teenagers are very self focused on self, so there's not that realization of how just those interactions are impacting parents. Tell me about the last family outing that y'all had.
I don't I don't know about the last family outing. I'm just trying to think of any. Um, they are usually us having to drag her to do them.
Hmm. What's the last one that you can remember that went where everybody was happy?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know. It's been a while.
So she's
I mean,
17.
well, it's not like I don't feel like we're not happy. It's just a very evident thing that she doesn't want to be there.
Mhm.
It's, and then I get frustrated because that's where that, um, like she's just not gracious.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. I mean, you think about all the things that you did that y'all did together when she was younger, and now as she's kind of pulling away, some of it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't ask much of her, so that's the other piece of it. Like when we ask her to do these things, we're not asking a lot.
So, if you could plan an activity, what would be the next one you would plan? Tell me what you would want to do as a family. I mean, I know it's kind of hard, bringing a 4-year-old around because there's that. Did you say your 4-year-old was a boy or a girl?
Well, he's a boy, but yeah, we're going to Disney World in October, so that is a family trip that we have planned coming up.
See that Disney World's a good vacation for adults and children because the children, no matter what age they are, there's something that can grab their attention. And it's almost like sometimes for the adults have trouble being adults because they want to be kids again because it's fun.
Hmm.
Um, have y'all ever been in therapy? Has anybody in the family ever been in therapy before?
I've been in therapy. We have not, I tried to put her in therapy. She's against therapy. Um, and she, we have not done therapy together, but I have considered it recently. But whenever when this first started happening, I did put her in therapy. But I don't know that anything was coming out of that because she was doing it to appease me and not because she wanted to do therapy.
About how old was she when she went into therapy?
15, 16. I mean, this was recent.
Okay. Um, is she currently taking any medicines for anything?
No.
Um, have you ever taken any medications for anything?
Yes.
Um, for what sort of things that you can
Well,
disclose?
I'm not going to because this I'm not gonna discuss.
No, it's okay. I respect that. I mean, at some point, I mean that's a personal choice. You may or may not want to. This there, it's this is all about what you're comfortable disclosing. We'll work with that. We've got plenty of things to work with here.
Mhm.
So describe your work schedule and your husband's work or your husband's work schedule.
My husband works just regular office hours. Um, I my schedule's flexible. I
Mhm.
make my own hours.
So what kind of work do you do and what kind of work does he do?
I'm a therapist and he works in finance,
Okay. How did y'all meet?
um, through friends, through a social club.
How is his interaction with your ex-husband? Any tension there?
Better than mine.
I'm sorry.
Better than mine.
Well, I guess
They
that's why
have,
y'all are divorced.
well, yeah. So, I mean, they get along. They get along at this point. I don't talk to him.
Well, I mean, at least you don't have that extra added stress of your ex and your current husband being at odds with each other. So that's. Um,
Hmm.
do you know if they've ever had discussions about their parenting styles and tried to? I mean, obviously, you and your ex-husband have to co-parent.
I think they have had some talks. Yes,
Uh-huh.
they have talked about it.
Um, so tell me what your some of your what are some of the things that you would like to work on as I'm gathering information? Because I mean, I've been asking you the questions, but this is all about you. So I want to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, my relationship with my daughter is not where I would like for it to be right now. And so I would just like to get some insight into how to navigate and manage my feelings because of that.
Okay. Um, so what are the best times for you to meet? Like, what works for you? And
Well,
is
like I
telehealth
said,
your
my
preferred medium?
yeah,
Okay.
telehealth is fine. My schedule's flexible, so I mean I can be available anytime.
Okay. Is there anything that you need for me to clarify that you may not have understood, or can I give you some additional information?
No, I don't. I think that's no.
Okay. I have a few things. I just want to make sure that I haven't left out anything that you may need. So we've clarified everything. So uh, the next step will be to set your next appointment. What is your availability like next week?
I'm gonna be out of town next week. Um, it seems like that session went by pretty fast. I mean, what sorts of recommendations or do you have any kind of guidance of what
Yes,
how we may go forward?
sure. So coping strategies are critical. Describe what your happy place looks like. Situations where you feel comfortable, where you maybe aren't
Hmm
as stressed as you are when you and your daughter are under the same roof.
I like working out, so I usually do that pretty regularly.
What are some other interests?
Hmm, good question. I mean, it's hard right now to lean into my interests with a toddler and my daughter, but I mean, going out to eat,
Mhm.
um, reading books. I read a lot.
Um, so with the toddler, is it just you, or does anybody else in the household help?
Oh yeah, my husband is pretty very hands-on with him.
So he helps while you take a breather of
Hmm
sorts, but there's the time that you and he spend together is probably few and far between because of 4-year-old. Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a balancing act, so we're working on that.
Any relatives that live nearby that you would trust with childcare?
My in-laws are pretty openly engaged in our son's lives and see him on an almost daily basis.
Well, it is the in-laws' job to spoil the child. So I tell people sometimes when we talk about, childcare that it comes with risks and benefits, which can be in the same. Yes, they're going to take care of your child, they're going to love your child, but they're also going to spoil your child and say, well,
Hmm
grandma let me do this.
Right.
Okay. So
So
maybe,
I think you're mentioning like just there's like coping stuff to kind of
yes, because like,
how to,
because your daughter is resistant to treatment, we can only treat, we can only work with you right now, because that's where the conflict between you and your daughter. So you, so I see some of the things that we have to work on would be, coping strategies. Like if you feel your pressure starting to rise, even if you don't have the loudest voice in the world, sometimes how to push, but I mean, how to push each
yeah.
other's
I
buttons.
mean
Resisting those.
yeah. Yeah, it's my tone, I think. I don't know. It's not that I have to I have raised my voice with her though. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I need to take a break, maybe.
Yeah, let me check. I just got a notice that my time, so the time remaining in the session, according to Zoom, is 9 minutes and 44 seconds.
That's
Uh,
fine. I
I
know we
want,
were wrapping up. I just kind of wanted to yeah, I know we were wrapping up.
No, that's okay. Look, I'm a very interruptible person. I mean, if you've got a concern, I mean, my clients are my number one concern. I will bend
Mhm.
over, if there's a situation where, you know, you need to meet, or if I'm having issues and I'm going to do everything I can to make that meeting. That's just, I'm there for my clients, so I'm not going to let you down. But in the so as long as we've covered, the biggest thing, with the time that we have left is discuss alternate coping strategies, and then we can build on that, going into the next meeting. And like when you get back from vacation, you just tell me what works for you, and we'll make something work.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So, all right, this is the official end. Do you want to talk after I end the meeting?
That's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. Let me close this out, and then I guess I'll start another Zoom, and I won't record it, but just so you know what, I'm going to go back and find that invitation that you sent me for the weekly Monday meeting, and I'll just contact you on that.
No, let me look. I have a Zoom that I can send to you. If you want to stop recording,
Yes.
um, let me, but